Good evening, chaps. How are you? Excuse me. Just going to take a swig. Oh, that's so good. My voice is pretty much finally back to normal after that classic rock show gig where I was. Excuse me a second. I keep forgetting to close that down. After that classic rock show gig where I was shouting and cheering and clapping and stomping and hollering all night. What a gig. What a gig. Robster Boy, thank you very much, mate. I was just going to go and see who was in the chat, and you pop up with that very generous gesture. Thank you so much. Let's go right up to the top and see who we've got in. Do the register, as it were. Wilson Jones and Johnny H. and sometimes Dim Never Thin. Great name, mate. Phil B. Says, off work today with COVID, so we'll be at home for beer o'clock. Normally don't get home till after 6, so there's always an upside. Indeed there is. Yes, I recommend a couple of beers. That'll make you feel better as well. Rob Bald and Michael Palmer. Evening, Michael. Luke's is in. I hope I pronounced your name right there, mate. And Johnny Random, Phil, Vincent Brennan, Danny Hancock. Who else we got? David Evans, Thomas Mulvaney, Ian Rouse, Cornucopia, John Ross, Chip Young, Lawrence Hastings, Paul Trainer, the resident bass player. Anton's in, Chris Otterwell, Edwin Toonan, evening Edwin, and Peter Collins, and who else we got? Scrolling down, Frank Bolam, Steve Dalton, Colin Falcon. Nice to see you, Colin. Excuse me, my mouse wheel is a bit sticky for some reason. And Chip Young, Raphael Jesus, just got a Gordon Smith from 2002. Lucky old you. I hope you'll love it. Fantastic guitars. And Cal B, Grandpa Joe, evening Joe. And who else we got? Malcolm Spillett, Peter S, Steve Lamb, Charles Gray. You've just got yourself a TE62BD. Nice guitar. Graham Campbell and Ian Clarkson, Robster Boy, we've already seen. Dan's in from Scott Guitars, Colm's in, and Nick Sedgwick. So nice to see you all in, and again, coming to watch your fat, bald northern lad talk cobblers for an hour. But there you go. Anyway, I just want to mention before we go any further, I meant to mention this last week, that there is talk, not started by me, but there is talk of, do you remember last August when we had our little get-together? There's talk of it happening again, summer again this year. So, I'm incredibly, kind of humbled that so many of you made the long trip up to Redcar to come and have a beer and a curry with yours truly. And all I'm saying is that if enough of you want to do it again, let's do it again. And it's just an in-principle kind of thing at the moment. So if you're up for it, let me know, and we'll see what we can set up. The other thing I want to mention, excuse me a sec. Dan from Scott Guitars has very, very generously donated a load of stuff to give away. And as you might know, if you were watching last week, I announced there's a bit of a prize draw. I just want to plug that again now. So what's the prize, first of all? Well, a Sonic Cake Twiggy Blues pedal. Fantastic little pedal. You've got compressor, amp sim, which some people have even said the word dumble about in reference. To me, it's got like more of a Vox AC30 kind of vibe to it, but a nice kind of bluesy amp sim, and you got delay, and you got reverb, and you got a cabinet simulator compression on there as well. So there's one of those. And if you're wanting something a little bit more high gain and with a few more different amp voices on it, then there's also one of these. A Behringer tube amp modeler. You may have seen the review I did of one of these very, very recently. So there's one of those in the giveaway, which works very well with the Sonicake. Almost forgot then. You can use this effectively as a gain pedal to push that amp sim a little bit harder. So very nice little piece of kit. And in case you want to record any of the stuff, there is a Behringer Euphoria UMC 22 interface. Dead easy to use. I use one all the time. It works like a charm. All of the recorded guitar sounds that you hear in all my videos are recorded via one of those. So a nice little sort of entry-level pack for doing a bit of home recording, recording your guitar, that is. And all you got to do to be in with a chance of winning that is make a donation to Zoe's Place. Zoe's Place Baby Hospice. I keep forgetting. I need to put the link in the description. But make a donation to Zoe's Place Baby Hospice. Just go and Google them, Zoe's Place Baby Hospice. Make a donation, screenshot the receipt, send it to me, and you're entered into the draw. And I'll announce the winner at the end of the month. So, a prize worth having, that, and it's all thanks to Dan from Scott Guitars. Just as I say, make a donation, even if it's only a £5. Make a donation, and you could be in with a chance of winning a nice little prize of some really useful kit like that. Just give it a go. You never know, you might win. So there's a Sonicake metal version now. Michael Palmer, you're up for the curry in the summer. Yes, well, if enough people are up for it, then we shall do it. Where are we? Who else? What have I missed in the chat while I've been blethering away about that giveaway? A sticky mouse wheel means a session on PH, if you know what I mean. I do know what you mean, and no. It's got more to do with beer being spilled on it, I expect. I use a clone in front of the Twiggy Blues, and it's awesome. Funny you should mention that. I'm thinking along similar lines. I've just done a pedal review, and that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks' time. And so there's I'm thinking about doing more pedal reviews, because it's whenever I stick the word unboxing or review in a video title, I get lots of views, and it's just a very cost-effective way of making a video is to buy some kind of budget pedal that purports to be have an expensive boutique sound to it. This looks a bit, apart from the pain, every existence that is created itself in the beginning is painless. Then the painless, okay, that's a bit deep for me this time on a Friday, but fair enough, mate. I'm up on the big screen. Oh, okay. You're on the big screen. The family says, yes, we are in for curry. Dear me, you're not watching me in HD, are you, Edwin? That's this face wasn't made for HD viewing. Certainly not 4K. It's I've got a perfect face for the radio, as they say. I see a lot of people up for the curry. Well, I'll keep on mentioning it in the live streams, and if we get like a suitable contingent, then we'll finalize it, and I should imagine it'll be sort of August time, sometime around then. We could make it sort of an annual August get together, couldn't we? Because I think it was August, the back end of August last time. So there you go. Anyway, I need to tell you what's coming up on the channel this week, don't I? Let me let me just refuel, and I can hopefully remember what videos I've got coming up this week. Monday is a classic solo, as is usually the case. A bit of slide for you on Monday. So think of a classic slide solo from the 70s. And a little interesting fact about this solo is it was recorded without the guitar player in question knowing that he was being recorded. He thought he was just kind of sound checking and getting a tone, and the engineer was just setting everything up, and turned out it was a take, and he didn't realise. So that's the Monday solo. Any ideas what that might be? Then on Tuesday, what's Tuesday? Tuesday is the second half of that top 10 most important electric guitars ever made kind of thing that we did. Wednesday, I think it's a lesson, and I'm just, because I've got like that many things, pots boiling at the moment, it's difficult for me to remember. I think on Wednesday I'm doing this thing about like how to practice the guitar when you're nowhere near a guitar. Things that you can do in your kind of spare time when you're nowhere near a guitar, like when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, when you're waiting for your turn at the petrol pump, when you're kind of waiting for your turn in the checkout queue at the supermarket, that kind of thing. Things you can do to use that otherwise dead time to improve your guitar practicing abilities. Then on Thursday, we're back to the Nashville Telecaster again. I've done a little bit of a wiring mod to that, so you can see what the outcome of that is on Thursday. Just a little kind of mod, because I do like modding Telecasters, and that's about the only Telecaster I've got that hasn't in some way been modded to some in some description. So there you go. Anton, I hear what you're saying about a Steve Clark solo. I've just finished doing a Def Leppard solo. I've literally today just finished filming it and tabbing it out, and that'll be scheduled for sometime in March, I imagine, because I do these videos sort of pretty well in advance. But yes, I do. I have got a kit. Def Leppard, and also, as I almost let the cat out the bag there's a Kiss solo that I've just finished doing as well, thanks to a request that was made on this chat a few weeks ago. The solo on Monday, I'll put you out your misery. It is the outro solo from Joe Walsh's Rocky Mountain Way. That's what we're looking at on Monday. I've wanted to do that one for ages, and I even did look into the possibility of getting a talk box to do like that section of the song as well, but that sadly wasn't to be. So it's the outro slide solo from that. Have you done Parisian walkways in the classic solo yet, John? Have never quite mastered the lightning fast run in the middle note for note. Well, you and me both, mate. That is I've played that song in a few bands, and I've always just bluffed it for that lightning fast run. Basically, I put a tapping run in whenever I play that, because all you need is a fast A minor run that starts on the right note and ends on the right note and fits the space available. And I do a sort of tippity tappity thing to descend it, because the Gary Moore run is absolutely beyond me. That's why, because the thing is, Gary Moore was Gary Moore and I'm not Gary Moore. So it's one of those things where you just kind of bluff your way through and use what technique you've got available to you, and kind of hope no one notices. The irony of it is, and there was a similar one, I did a video about this a couple of years ago, where I used when I had to do a depth gig for a band that were doing Out in the Fields, and that fast run in that solo, no way I was ever going to get close to the Gary Moore run that he played there. But I did something that sounded a bit the same, but I used sort of a legato, the kind of hammer-on pull-off stuff I do a lot of the time. I did a legato kind of thing that was quite similar, and I was actually congratulated for nailing the solo. I've seen so many bands play that solo, and only you've ever got it right. Really, you think I did? Okay, well, thanks, but it's you think that, mate. Crack on. So yeah, that might be a subject to do a few videos on. Actually, is like how to bluff your way through a situation when you don't have the chops to to play the lick or the run available. I mean, another one was that I remember doing that on way back was the Final Countdown. That was it. John Norum solo on that. That's like really ridiculously fast picking. But I used to tap it, and all you needed was the right arpeggios in the right order, and you could sort of bluff your way through it, or I did anyway. And again, it was one of those things that, people seemed to like it. And no one called me a fraud, so I'm assuming I got away with it. Any chance of doing the solo from Kaylee by Marillion? It is on the list, mate. It already is. I've done 2 Marillion solos. I've done Easter and Incubus. And I'll be honest with you, Marillion are one of those bands that I always think I should really go and check out a bit more, because every time I listen to them, I think, quite enjoying this, but then I always seem to get sidetrack. You know what it's like. You know what it's like when you're a chap of a certain age. You get to a point where the familiar is always more comfortable. And do I want to listen to new music in that limit? Because believe it or not, how little time I get to listen to music. I get an hour on a morning when I'm just kind of waking up and having me cup of coffee and kind of getting my eyes to focus and getting ready to meet the day. I stick an album on then. And then the rest of the day I'm working. And yes, all right, that involves listening to music in terms of tabbing it out and stuff. But, to just sit and purely listen to music for enjoyment, I get precious little time of that to do that. So it's always the temptation, isn't it, to go with the familiar, to go and listen to your favorite, the stuff that's already, favorite. And apparently there is some statistic out there, because there usually is for this kind of thing, isn't there, that says that once you reach a certain age, your kind of capacity to listen to new music diminishes exponentially. But yeah, I will. Marillion, I've been thinking about doing a Marillion solo for a while, and because I wasn't familiar with either Easter or Incubus, then I thought, well, why don't I do one that I know? Which Marillion songs do I know? Oh, yeah, that'd be Kaylee. So yeah, it's on the list, and I'm already kind of preparing for that. I'm kind of, because what I've got to do when I do these solos, the first thing I do is I figure out the chord sequence. Excuse me, more beer. First thing I do is figure out the chord sequence, and then I've got to figure out, well, okay, I've got to make a backing track for this, and so there's like, you're trying to get somewhere close to the bass line, and what's the drummer doing, and is he playing on the hi-hat, or is he on the ride cymbal, or is he, all that sort of stuff. So I'm sort of in that stage with a few solos at the moment, and Kaylee happens to be one of them. Cheers. Michael, I'm going to put you up on screen, mate, because that is a brilliant observation. Not having the chops is always the key for innovation. That is so true. The classic example of that is that B.B. King wanted to be able to play slide guitar, but couldn't. B.B. wanted to play slide guitar like his cousin, Booker White, but just couldn't get the coordination to use the slide, and just it was beyond him. He just couldn't figure it out. So he kind of decided, well, I'm going to try and get that smoothness of that glissando that you get with a slide by bending strings. And I'm not saying BB invented the string bend, but there weren't many people doing it before him, and suddenly after BB, then it became part of the standard repertoire of of guitar. So, you know, not being able to do something does force you to be creative. And I see Anton's, have a word, John, that's not worthy of a flake. Yes, I'm on the Heineken. I am on the Heineken, and I've got a case of Heineken, and I've got a couple of bottles of Moretti. And that is I'll get through a case of Heineken this evening, but that is the weekend's you know, kind of entertainment, shall we say. I just got fed up with Carling. It's dishwater, isn't it? I mean, if we're honest, it really is, you know. It's not the fact that it's only 4%, because like when I go to Aldi and I buy their Galahad lager from there, that's only 4%. And it's fine. It's a nice drop, is Galahad. But Carling, nah, it's it's dishwater, and I can't believe I lasted on it so long. So yes, the Heineken is what we're on this weekend. Let's have a look what you're saying there, David. Being a Marillion fan took me a while to get used to Season's End album that Easter is on, after first album after Fish left. Okay, yeah, that's always a divisive thing, isn't it? When there's when an iconic member of a band, a founder member of a band, leaves, you know, it's. I think some people feel that if they like the next album too much, there's an element of disloyalty in it. You know, I know, for instance, that there's my mate Jem who's in the chat I've just seen there. He's an Iron Maiden fan, but for him it's Paul Di'Anno all the way. You know, he's not a Bruce fan, whereas I only got into Iron Maiden after Bruce had joined. And you know, there's a similar thing, isn't there? You know, kind of Bon Scott, Brian Johnson sort of thing. But for me, it's like, well, you know, I mean, obviously the other thing is, you know, kind of Sabbath when Ozzy left. For me, I don't tend to get hung up on that, but I can understand why some people do, because when music touches you so deeply, you know, and affects you so emotionally, that you do feel that sort of bond with the musicians, and when one of them leaves, it's like you're cheating on your partner to enjoy and you know, the band with them. Or maybe a better analogy is when your best friend splits up from their partner, and you know, you have to make friends with their new girlfriend or something. It's a little bit like that, isn't it? Yeah, Gillen Coverdale, indeed. I got to tell you, I'm a massive early Whitesnake fan. Those first few albums, you know, before they went all sort of, you know, kind of spandex and poodle perm. That first era of Whitesnake, the Moody Marsden era, basically. Massive fan of that. And I think David Coverdale's voice back then on those albums is one of the great rock voices. But I never, ever thought he was a good fit in Deep Purple. I just don't think that. I mean, Gillen's voice and Coverdale's voice are just so different. It's almost like you're putting gravy on your cornflakes. You like gravy and you like cornflakes, but the two don't go together. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, David. The Blaze Bayley era of Iron Maiden was not a happy time, was it? So. Oh, here we go. Let's put you up on screen. No comparison. Paul's voice much better than Bruce. That's how I do it. Enjoy listening to Bruce. Well, fair enough, mate. Yeah, I don't know. I think as a band, Iron Maiden evolved into what I think of as Iron Maiden. That sort of slightly kind of proggy band. Well, yeah, very proggy, in fact. And I know they're a bit like that beforehand, but, you know, I don't think you would have had a song like Number of the Beast with Paul on vocals. You know, it's just that the songs seem to get more in depth and complex when Bruce joined the band. Let's go and have a look, see what I've missed in the chat while I've been blethering. Albert Lee's recorded version of Sweet Little Lisa is another I'd love to see a lesson on. I can play 95% of it, but there's only one bit I've never figured out in 40 odd years. Do you know the first band I didn't know that song until I was at a Hamsters gig and they played it. Anybody remember the Hamsters? What a band they were. Snail's Pace Slim. Fantastic band. Again, I was talking about the classic rock show. And about kind of what a great band they were, what a great night out it was. I'm still on a bit of a high from that, to be honest with you. But the Hamsters, I don't even know if they're still all alive, let alone gigging now. But they were a great band to go and see back in the day. And that was the first time I'd ever heard Sweet Little Lisa. And I'll tell you how long ago that was. They were selling not CDs or download codes. They were selling cassettes on their merch table at that gig. And wasn't that Albert Lee version of Sweet Little Lisa? Wasn't that a collaboration between? I think that's on a Dave Edmunds album, isn't it? It's Dave Edmunds singing, certainly. So anyway. Excuse me, I just got distracted there thinking about that Hamsters gig. Got Queen tickets in May, not the same without Freddie, but can't wait to see Brian May play live. Is that still Adam Lambert who's singing with them? Because, gosh, it's got to be a few years ago now. I saw, I think it was on a New Year's Eve thing, not the Jules Holland thing, but it was some New Year's Eve gig where Queen were playing with Adam Lambert. And I got to tell you, he had the stage presence. He wasn't Freddie. He wasn't trying to be Freddie. He wasn't doing an impersonation. But he certainly had that kind of presence that Freddie had. And God bless him, much as I love Paul Rodgers and I love Bad Company and I love Free, I just never thought that was a particularly good fit. Paul Rodgers singing with Queen. It just didn't work. But Adam, he's got that sort of, that slight kind of oddball kind of quality. He's beamed in from the mothership in some way, in the similar way that you often kind of felt Freddie had. John, have you done any Queensryche solos? Anything Operation Mindcrime and Empire? If you haven't, that's a band I'd completely forgotten about, to be honest with you, mate. Because they had their big hit, as I recall, towards sort of the end of their sort of big. They rose to the top with, was it Silent Lucidity, and then. Oh, it was like, okay, so this is the band I've been reading about in all the guitar magazines for all these years. They sound good, and then I never really heard anything more from them again. Are they still around? Oh, Adam Lambert is with them. Oh, good. I've got to agree with you there, Jem. Let me put you up on screen. George Michael was brilliant with Queen at Live Aid. He was indeed. That was that Freddie Mercury tribute gig. I think is the one you're referencing there. The at Wembley. Because up until then, I hadn't had any time for George Michael. That was just He was sort of the Donny Osmond of the 80s, wasn't he, as far as I was concerned? No time for that sort of shenanigans. And then he came out and sang Somebody to Love with the surviving members of Queen. And I got, okay, yeah, this lad's got a set of pipes on him. He can sing. And that was a bit of an eye-opener for me, I've got to tell you. Let's put you up on screen there. I remember your admiration for Bill Nelson's Yorkshire Landscape tune. Any chance of a vid? Yeah, the only problem with that, Michael, is just the sheer amount of tabbing and transcribing and the amount of work would go into that vid. I was thinking about doing that one back in the old days before, you know, the world went crazy in, 2020. And when I was doing 2 videos a week. At the moment, I'm doing, well, I do a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday video and a Sunday video, plus a live stream on a Friday, plus, kind of 30-odd lessons a week. So it's just finding the time to do something of that, kind of caliber, that amount of work to go into it. I have to say that, since I've started this kind of doing solos all the time, tabbing stuff out, I've got a lot slicker at it than I was a couple of years ago. It used to take me about 3 days to tab out the solo. I can do one in an afternoon now. So who knows? We shall see. If I can get just that little bit slicker and quicker at doing stuff, then we shall. I'm not ruling it out. Put it that way. Let's see what else we've missed. Don't ask about Queensryche. My God, lawsuits, multiple bands, name disputes, etc. Oh, it's been one of those cases. I think I've Glenn Fricker, Spectre Media. He's always going on about how he mixed a Queensryche record and never got paid for it. So maybe he was caught up in that kind of legal shenanigans. I didn't know that they'd had that kind of that sort of trauma as a band, put it that way. So what else? Let's have a look at that. John, how long does it how long does it take you to work out and play a solo from scratch on average? Sometimes, like I've just done a CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival solo, and that was literally one that I did in a lesson for a student, and I thought, well, I've got the tab, I might as well do something with it and put it up on YouTube. So that one, to tab it out, was within the scope of a 1 hour lesson with a student. Then maybe because it's CCR, it's not going to be a hideously complex jam track. Maybe another hour to record and mix it and film it, and that was it done. Probably the longest one that took me about 4 days to do was, do you remember I did that Shuggy Otis solo? Gosh, it's got to be about a year or so back now. Shuggy Otis was this guitarist I discovered in the 80s on an Al Cooper record, and absolutely loved the album back in the 80s, and then I had it on vinyl, and then when I went from vinyl to CD and CD to MP3 and MP3 to Spotify, certain albums kind of fall through the cracks and you forget about them. Anyway, long story short, I rediscovered it and thought, well, yeah, let's do a solo off that album. And I did it, and it's a long old solo, and it took me about 4 days to do, to get tabbed out. When I have something kind of long form like that, another one that took a while was the outro solo from Comfortably Numb. What I'll tend to do is I'll learn it in sections. Okay, so I'll tab a bit out. I'll tab like maybe kind of 8 bars of it out. And because I'm tabbing it out and playing it, it sort of goes in and it's in the muscle memory, even if only temporarily. And I record that, and then, okay, let's tab the next bit out, and then I'll record that, and then it's just a case of, editing it all together, which is why in a lot of the solos you see these kind of changes of camera angle and kind of fades from one shot to another. That's usually where, okay, that's as much as I've learned in that one go there. Many of the solos that you've seen me play on YouTube and that I've tabbed out, I've never played all the way through because I'm on a schedule and I've got to learn it and get it done quickly, and learning it in chunks and getting that bit right, and then, okay, let's move on to the next bit. And I've never actually played the whole thing all the way through. Given time, I'm saying it's something that would be beyond me. It's just that, you know, I don't have the time to sit down and commit the whole thing into that sort of intuitive muscle memory kind of process. Oh, Dash Shaft, sorry, I missed you earlier on, mate. I didn't notice you were in. How many cameras do you use? I use I used to use, let me grab it, just this cheap little camcorder thing, about 40 quid's worth of camcorder off Amazon. And that was what I used to do all of the videos with. But now, I just found I get a decent picture quality off the camera on my phone. It just gets mounted onto this here tripod, and I film all of the playing parts of the videos with that, and I film all of the kind of talking parts of the videos with this webcam here, and then just stitch it all together in a free piece of software called VideoPad, and it seems to work. I mean, you know, you get someone like Henning, you know, Henning, who I have a lot of time for. Henning, I think he's a great bloke. But, you know, he's pretty much got a full TV studio in his house, you know, with like kind of broadcast quality equipment. I don't, you know, but then again, you say, I don't really, I'm sat here doing a YouTube live stream and I've got 23,000 subscribers, but I still, to this day, I don't see myself as a YouTuber. I'm just a guitar teacher who puts YouTube videos out, you know, so if it got to a point where YouTube was, you know, that my primary source of income, then it would be something I would probably look into and kind of like going for that level of you know, of gear. But it's at the moment I seem to get the results that I'm happy with, and it is my channel after all. Just with, you know, filming it on a webcam and a phone, to be honest. Yeah, NCH VideoPad, even an idiot like me can get results from it. And me, Colm, yeah, I use it all the time. I've been using it for years. Keeping it real, or yeah, keeping it cheap, more like. Oh, well, thank you. There's a lot of people saying, keep on rocking. Lawrence there saying, all you do it well. Yeah, we seem to have a bit of a funny thing going on in the chat here. I'm just going to there we go. Someone was being a little bit silly in the chat, and well, that's why YouTube invent the block button. So they've just said hello to my blocked list. Yeah, Henning has a massive music room. He does, doesn't he? You know, he puts out a lot of good stuff, Henning. You know, but again, his videos, a lot like sort of Dave Simpson. Again, I have a lot of time for. It's like, oh, great, there's a new video by Dave Simpson, or a new Henning video. I haven't got time to watch it though. And you stick it in the watch later list, and you know, it's you just never get round to it. Oh, that's a good question, Dave. John, how do you work out the solo for your own stuff? I personally work it out in my head and then translate it to the guitar. That's one way of doing it. And that will be sometimes how I will do it. I'll just kind of listen to the jam track and then just, you know, play the guitar solo in my head, like hear it. Do you know what I mean? And then try and nail it down on the guitar. Other times I'll just jam to the backing track. And sometimes, very, very, very rarely, but sometimes, that first take that I do with the jam will be, well, yeah, okay, I'm not going to get any better than that. Let's go with that. But more often it's like I'll jam half a dozen times. And then, oh, I like that bit. Yeah, it starts going off the boil a bit there. So, but so let's have a listen to what I did on a later take, and I'll sometimes piece it together, or sometimes if it's more structured and I want to get it, you know, kind of more spontaneous but structured, what I'll do is I'll kind of learn a composite solo and then play that. It depends. Usually, as I say, with the kind of volume of stuff that I'm chucking out at the moment, it'll be I'll often just edit together several takes. But it depends. I do like it when it comes together all in one take. But it's great that sometimes I just have to kind of do the old sort of cut and shut with it. Any camera you can use on the headstock, like the shot out in the fields, says Michael. There are probably still some videos back up on YouTube that I was doing back in about 2009 where I had that kind of shot going on, and all it was it was a webcam gaffer taped to the headstock. But you know what? It got that look. Don't knock yourself for having low-cost gear to do YouTube when a kid with a laptop can knock out a dance hit without having 50k worth of studio gear. Well, I suppose that's true. I mean, it's the thing is, because my YouTube channel isn't about kind of video production or audio production or anything like that. It's about basically here's a scale that will kind of make you sound like this, or here's how you play this chord. Then for me, as long as it's audible and visible, then that's all that really matters. It's I'm not saying I want to kind of do shoddy production values. I want to get the best production values I can, but as long I'm not striving for something that would be kind of broadcastable in terms of the TV industry or something, which is what a lot of people see, or the movie industry, which is what a lot of people seem to go for. As long as I can sit here and get the point across that I'm wanting to get across, then job done, really. And the gear that I've got at the moment seems to do that. I have got a new PC that I have to get set up, because this webcam is pretty good, but it's a better webcam than this clunky old slow PC can handle. And sometimes when I'm kind of doing stuff, I can see it's not quite keeping up with what the video processing capabilities of the PC aren't quite keeping up with what the webcam's giving it. So I've got a new PC to set up at some point, and hopefully you will notice an improvement in the quality. Oh, Johnny Random, thank you. That will go to Zoe's place. I'll tell you what, mate. Because of that, I will enter you into the draw for the giveaway there. So, Johnny Random, you're in the prize draw for the Twiggy Blues, the Behringer tube amp modeler, and the Behringer interface. So yes. Get your entries in, folks. Let's raise some money for Zoe's place. Let's have a look. I'm with you on that, Dave. I like Dave Simpson. He just comes across as a really nice bloke. Fantastic player, and just a top bloke. But his videos, it's like, oh, Dave Simpson's got a video. Oh my God, it's an hour long. Have I got an hour when I can sit and watch that from beginning to end? And quite often I just don't. So I miss a lot of his stuff. What's that time, Prophet? Took my guitar for a repair on the pot. Gave them my D'Addario XL strings to stick on the guitar once they finished. Pretty sure they didn't put strings on because I can't bend them. Do you know what? That can happen. We had years ago, and I won't name the shop because it's libel and all of that. But there is an electrical shop in Redcar, and we bought a TV from them. And this is going back about 10 years. We bought a TV from them, and it was fine. It worked, and then it didn't. And there was a 2-year guarantee on it, and it was within the guarantee. So we called them and said, we want you to come and fix our TV. Oh, well, yeah, okay. And they tried to sort of put us off. I said, no, look, come on, it's under guarantee. So anyway, they brought it out and said, well, you're not leaving us without a TV, And this was a big sort of, not a big flat screen TV, but it was like, it was about kind of 36-inch TV. And for the 3 weeks while they had the TV to repair it, they left us with a portable TV, just a little kind of, the old school portable TV. That was our TV for about 3 weeks. And then we're ringing them up all the time. When's our TV going to be fixed? Oh, yeah, we'll get onto it. Well, you've had 3 weeks now. Anyway, long story short, they brought the TV back. And, when you think, is that our TV? Does it look the same? Wasn't that sort of control panel there a different colour? But, you can't remember for sure. Anyway, about a year after that, our Sky TV box kind of packed up. So we thought, well, we've got and that was getting fixed. So if there was a few days where we had no Sky TV, now it doesn't matter. We've got built-in Freeview on our TV. So we tried using it, except that this TV that we've got now obviously didn't have built-in Freeview. This shop had basically taken our TV and said they were going to fix it, and they brought us back after 3 weeks. When they couldn't fix it, they brought us back a different one that didn't have the built-in Freeview. So stuff like that can happen. Needless to say, we've never been back to that shop since. No, I'm with you on that, Das. Is it just me, but I don't really care if I'm watching in 4K, 720p or standard broadcast quality? No, me neither, that is something that I think is... people are more kind of obsessed these days, or concerned, let's say, with the format than they are with the content. People will kind of... I don't watch a lot of TV, but do we really need a 4K TV with surround sound and all the kind of bells and whistles so my wife can watch Coronation Street 3 times a week? It's all about just like I'm not bothered whether a movie is in this definition or that definition, or how the different kind of blacks that you can see in the depth of color in the black and all that sort of stuff. I don't care. It's like, is it a good plot? Is it well acted? That's for me what matters when I'm watching something on TV. Michael, you are a gem. I will assume that is for Zoe's Place, and I will, and Phil, thank you. Consider yourselves entered to, let me write this down because I won't have a record of that. So that is Phil B and Michael Purcell. Right, consider yourselves entered into the prize draw, chaps. Let's have a look. Anybody else really annoyed by these clickbait thumbnails, for example, tricks you must know? I can't say I've seen those, Michael, to be honest with you, but for some reason I seem to be getting lots and lots and lots of YouTube ads at the moment for like this share trading thing, eToro. It's like, I've never bought and sold stocks and shares in my life. It's if I want to go gambling, I'll go down to the betting office and put bet on a race. But for some reason they're always insisting that something about my age, the demographic I'm in, or anything, thinks that bloke must be interested in betting on the stock market. Okay, Anton, that's you in there as well. Let's chuck your name on the list. Hi, John. Any chance of some Squeeze? He's a hell of a guitarist. Oh, there's a thought. Yeah. Excuse me. I need more beer. Gosh, we're 50 minutes in. And Andrew Galloway. There we go. Let's put that in. Thank you. Thank you, chaps. You're raising money for a good cause. Oh, yes, Ian. Ian, if you remember last week, had the problem with his dodgy odd fret problem on the on his vintage V100. Answer to the fret question. Everyone said it was a string, have a gold star. It was a kink at about the 8th fret. Yes, if you don't remember that, or if you weren't here last week, Ian had this weird problem where if he played the 10th fret on his 3rd string, it sounded like the 11th fret. Play the 9th fret, it sounded like the 9th. Play the 11th fret, it sounds like the 11th. But the 10th fret also sounded like the 11th. And that's a classic sign of a high fret. And it was a kink in the string. How about that? Jody saying, how do you donate? You can either ping me a super chat, or you can go to just Google Zoe's Place, and you will find their website and you can donate there. If you do it that way, screenshot your receipt, send it to me, grguitartuition@gmail.com, and that will get you entered into the draw. Steve Lamb, you're on the list, mate. And I better start making a note of this. So that was $10. That was $10. Five. Right, there we go. Right, so it's hard to see as a German while you can the beer in the glass. Okay, mate. Well, fair enough. I just prefer drinking beer from a glass because I find it less gassy. Malcolm Spillett, you're a gentleman. And that is Das Chef, and that is a tenner, right? Das, mate, you have some guitar lessons booked with me, mate. When you going to get in touch to set them up, mate? I think it was you, wasn't it? Your missus got you some guitar lessons for Christmas or your birthday or something. Give me a shout and we'll set something up. John, please put a link to Zoe's Place in the description. I'm not sure I can do that while the stream. Maybe you can, but I don't know how to do that while the stream is ongoing. But I will do so after we wrap up, which will not be very long because I've got a kebab turning up just after 6. But yes, I will do that. Where are we? Yeah, let's put that up there. If anyone wants to donate to Zoe's but can't super chat, you can go directly to the website and donate. It's basically, if you just Google Zoe's Place, let me kind of do it now, actually, and then I can put that in the chat. So let me go Zoe's Place. There we go, and here we go. Let's find... the link is, so we can just copy that and paste that into the chat. There we go. There is the link to Zoe's Place. I've just put it in the chat. So if you'd like to donate that way, as I say, if you do it that way, you need to screenshot your receipt and send it to me if you want to be entered into the draw. So, John, what about everyone at next meetup brings a piece of gear to donate? Then you could do another fundraiser. That is fine in principle. Vincent, let's put you in there, Vincent. And that's 20 euros. Thank you so much for all your generosity, everyone. Yeah, regarding the bringing a piece of gear, the only problem is this is a small house. Yeah, and I'm kind of starting to get hearing rumblings that, like, how many more guitars are you going to have in that room? So we shall see. Yes, in principle, but we'll just need to work out the logistics of it. Oh, Johnny, man, I feel for you. Ours did that a few years ago. Our boiler went, just one of those funny things where you think, I'm sure I can smell gas. And you come in and anyway, long story short, it was a thick end of $1,000 to get ours done. So wasn't quite as bad a situation as you had, but, that was a few years ago. But, what you're saying there, Ian, hope you haven't missed me. Did I? Oh, Ian Clark. There we go. Yes, I had missed you, Ian. The chat's going up so fast. Right. So, don't listen to the voices. More guitars equals happiness. Indeed, Johnny, such is life. Look at it this way, mate. Get yourself a new boiler while you're still allowed to have a new boiler, because it's going to be getting to the point where we're going to have to not have heating in our homes, apparently. Anyway, let's not get political, but I have to catch up on your videos. Router died and I had no internet for 2 days. However, upgraded the firmware and got it working again. Well, good for you, mate. One question: how did you update the firmware without an internet connection if your router had died? That's one of those things, isn't it? It's like you need to download something to fix your internet connection, but you can't go on the internet to download it because you haven't got an internet connection. That's a dilemma I've found myself in more than once. Next time I get rid of a pedal, I'll send it to you. The £10 I get from eBay is never worth the effort. Indeed, yeah. I mean, it's selling on eBay is something I do because it is part of the business model that I have of, like, buying guitar, review the guitar, make money from the videos that I make reviewing the guitar, then sell the guitar and hopefully show profit with the combined revenue from reselling the guitar and from the YouTube videos. But it is a pain in the bum getting, kind of doing the whole sort of eBay thing, and then you get a bill later saying these are your eBay sellers costs for this month. Oh, I'd forgotten about those, and there you go. So, but it can't be helped. Pulling muscles from a shell, great solo and very melodic. Reminds me of John's style. Well, that's very nice of you to say that. Thank you very much. Squeeze. So I've got to look at some Marillion and I've got to look at some Squeeze. The Marillion one is already in progress, so we shall be getting that up in the next few weeks or thereabouts. Anyway, chaps, it's getting close to 6, and I've got a kebab turning up in, well, just after 6. So I'm going to call time on it for this evening. Thank you once again. Thank you for all your generosity with those donations. You're all entered into the draw for that wonderful prize, courtesy of Dan from Scott Guitars. And as I said, we're going to keep this going till I think I said the 25th. Basically, it's the last Friday in the month, when I'll be doing the draw live on the live stream to see who's won that lovely lot of pedals and interface and everything. Oh, well, thank you. Sneaking in under the wire. Mega Loch Gelly. I hope I pronounced that right. That is see here. That is 200, whatever that amounts to in, and that is Mega Loch Gelly. Right, chaps, I've got to go because I've got to go and have some food. Thank you, everyone, for turning up. It's been fantastic, as usual, and that's all down to you people. As Keith Williams always says, you chaps are the channel. I just make the videos. And that is it for today. So I'll see you all on the next one. Time, gentlemen, please.